Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Oluwabusayomi A and I film content from Ontario, Canada. So in today's video is going to be like slightly different because we're going to be comparing UK and Canada. I'm not going to do this alone because I've not been to UK before, but with me here I have Ella. Ella, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, thank you so much, Busayo, for bringing me on. My name is Ella, and I've had some experience in the UK and
And now
in Ontario.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a serious talk. We're just going to gist about your experience in the UK, just in case we have people that want to relocate but they don't know if they should relocate to the UK or Canada. So we're just going to do just going to compare life in UK and Canada, and just to help someone decide, just in case they want to relocate. So thank you so much for coming to my channel today. We're just going to talk about it and gist and all that. And if you guys want to continue watching this content, stick around, click the subscribe button below, and let's jump right into today's video. So Ella, thank you so much again for coming to my channel. So the first question I have for you is, how is life in UK? Like how is life in UK generally?
Okay, so I'd like to put out a disclaimer. Please, no quotes because
this is your personal experience. Yeah,
exactly. So, from my personal experience, life in the UK, I would put it in one word: glamorous. So if you are that type of person, so where you want to see the nicest things, you want to see the techiest things, you want a compact space that has the community, the Black Afro community. Yes, UK is glamorous. Like the best fashion brands are there. Situated in like the central places. UK is how I put it, the community is strong. So living for me is ability to meet up with my community, ability to, reach out to, if I want to get like African stuff, I can get it. If I want the brands I've been listening to, if I want to shop from those brands, I can get it. So life in the UK generally is glamorous, and then the weather is temperate. So it's not a very fast stretch from what I had in Nigeria.
So I think we'll just say UK is like home away from home.
Yeah.
because like here in Canada, like there's sometimes I will just go to the mall and see, okay, if there are some things I can just shop, like clothing and all that. And then when I get to the mall, like I'm not the only one on this, to be honest, because there's one of my other friends, like anytime we go to the mall to shop and we just get there, like we're just so confused because there are some brands here that we're expecting, like, okay, to see, like, we're young, we're not old, like, we want to see like all this fashion, like the trending style and all that. But then we just entered the mall and then we're confused. We're like, why is Canada like this? And then
not trying to compare any brand anyway. So.
Yeah, and then people end up, shopping from China, shopping from like other brands from the UK, US, and all that. And then I'm like, oh, like, well, I've not been to like any other country, so I can't really talk about like their fashion sense and all that. But I think like, because I have so many friends in the UK, and then when I see them dress, I'm like, wow, see this babe, like yes, I think like I would definitely agree.
They have easier access to those things.
Yes, like there are a lot of brands, and then there are like a lot of things that like you can have easy accessibility to UK compared to Canada. Here, like you would have to like eventually order online,
for it to be shipped to you.
That's very, very true. And also, like, how is the work life in UK compared to Canada? Like, what's the work culture like? What's the pay like? What's the like? Is there like work life balance in UK compared to Canada?
Yes, it's relative. I want to consider myself a workaholic, so yeah, I'm getting the balance, and balance. Yeah. So, but most people would swear
Mhm.
by the fact that UK is laid back. Yeah,
Okay.
it's laid back. Their life translates to their work. So the same way they love, looking good, all of those things, you will see it. Your
Mhm.
bosses, when they come in, you see how good they look. You want to look as good as they do.
Yeah.
Your deliverables are also very understandable in the sense that it's even if you have targets or you have a job where it's target based, it's sales based, it's still laid back. You can't compare it to Canada or even to Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
So the work life there is it's impressive. I did a stint. I worked while in the UK, and
Yeah.
I was a credit specialist in an energy company, UK, and I have to say that that was like one of the highlights for me while in the UK. It was
UK.
one of the highlights for me while in the UK. But finding a job in the UK
Yeah.
is relatively easier than Canada.
Mm-hmm.
While in the UK, I maybe give or take a month or two. That if you want the white collar kind of jobs, you don't want
Job.
to go for blue collar. 1 or 2 months, your transition period should be over, and you should have the kind of job you want. How
Even sorry to cut you short, because I know when I came to Canada, like
yeah,
even before I relocated to Canada, like even before we landed in
yeah.
Canada, like applying for jobs and all that, and
Mhm.
then when we eventually landed in Canada, I got like like I had to do a couple of interviews, and like most of their requirements were like they won't be able to move forward because I don't have Canadian experience. So is it
Yeah.
like that in UK as well?
No, UK, if they validate any experience you have from
Wow.
whatever country you're coming from,
Yeah, I
they do
think
not
that.
need you to have a UK educational background. They don't need you to have a UK work experience. All they need you to do is prove you can do the job, and you're
Job.
fine. Yeah. So that's the UK. It's laid back. Like it moves from the top down to the bottom because no one is asked to, do like provide things that are out of this world simply because you want to earn your daily bread.
Mm-hmm.
Like the UK is laid back when it comes to getting like the white collar job you would like.
Wow, I think that's very good. And also comparing the pay, like is there like a minimum wage they pay in UK as
Yeah,
well?
yeah. Like most developed countries, there's a minimum wage. So no matter the kind of job you do, that's your benchmark. So when
Yeah.
you come in, you are going to earn that, unless maybe for undocumented immigrants who are, trying to take cash under the
Yeah.
radar. I really cannot speak to those. But for jobs, blue collar, even if you are working in like Primark, or if you are in Asda or Sainsbury's, you are working the counter, you are going to earn minimum wage, and then it builds from there, depending on the kind of job you do. So yeah, and it's fair. Minimum wage can still be sufficient to live the life you want because everything is accessible. If you want
Yeah.
to look good, everything is situated right close to you in the city centers of most cities. So it's a great work life balance that UK presents.
Yeah, and I know that the transport system as well is like accessible compared to
Yeah.
Canada. I think
Yeah.
you can actually even do without, even as a family,
Mm-hmm.
like family of three, family of two, family of four, like you can do
Mm-hmm.
without buying a car, and then you
Yeah.
still get to where you're going to. Like it's
Yeah,
very.
we while in the UK we didn't need a car because you can walk out of your house a 1 minute walk and there is a bus every 5 minutes
Wow.
on time. And if it's going to be late,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be informed that it's going to be late and to specify how many minutes late it will be. Like it is so on point, real time on time. So that's one thing I have to applaud the UK government. Their transport system is amazing. The trains, the buses, everything works according to schedule. And I am a schedule kind of person. So
person.
I like to predict what my day will be like. So it helps a lot. It helps a lot that that system supports it. So if you're that kind of person, yeah, UK is the best bet for you.
Yeah, I think that's actually very good. Though it's not like it's extremely bad here in Canada, but
Yeah.
like, I mean, if you want to go out, you have to like work with what the bus map is telling you, like when the bus will, it will come.
Yeah.
At times,
Yeah.
if you bus, you would have to wait maybe like 15, at times 20 minutes for the next bus to come.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's extremely bad, but I think it's way better in the UK compared to Canada.
Yes, yes. The Canada transport system is built to support personal cars. I believe so because it's people have to move at different times to earn a living. So sometimes it might not work with your schedule in the morning. Sometimes it might not work with you when getting off work. So Canada supports personal cars, all of those things. Yeah. So that's the difference.
Yeah. So also, I just want to know, like, the childcare system in the UK. How is the childcare system in UK compared to Canada? Like, like, do they support, or like, is it very easy for you in the UK to get like a daycare for your child compared to like when you guys relocated to Canada? Like, which one is easier? And then how is the system like?
Okay, so I didn't use any childcare
Okay.
while in the UK. My daughter was still very young. She's about 18 months thereabout, and you can easily get a daycare facility, but
Okay.
you will not easily pay for it because my God, the UK daycare system is amazing. It's expensive. Yeah.
Wow.
It is so expensive that we just couldn't at that point because it
Yeah.
didn't make a lot of sense. And I was working. I had a hybrid role, so I was my husband and I had to run shifts, make sure our jobs could match her life, her day-to-day activities, just so we could make that work. But it was expensive, and as a student, we didn't have any access to government funds. So majority of other people in the UK who have their kids in the system either have government funding or have some kind of allowance or waivers that allows them to put their child in the daycare. But most Africans, once we get there, we hold our we hold it until you have the funds to be able to take your child, or if you have more kids, you have the ability to take your child to the daycare. But I would not advise it for students. Maybe come with a partner who can look out for your kid.
Yeah.
Because most people I know coming in from Nigeria are coming as students. So that's why I say that.
Yeah.
So,
And also, like, in Canada, like, there is like a childcare benefit. So like, is there also like childcare benefit from the government from like UK government to like people that are coming through to school in UK?
So there are no benefits for kids coming into the UK. In fact, I know that if you give birth in the UK, it doesn't necessarily validate your kid as a British citizen.
Yeah.
So unlike Canada, where you give birth and your child is immediately a citizen, so that's a wide. The difference is enough to convince you to want to move to Canada if you are in the line to have a family. Some people go to UK for different reasons. So if you are about to start a family, yes, I think Canada would work best for you because your kids, you're already coming in as someone who doesn't know their status at that point. So it's even if you're a student in Canada and you give birth to a child in Canada while studying, your child is a citizen.
Yeah.
So it's that's a brilliant thing that the Canadian government has done to encourage immigrants. So, and after your child is born, depending on your situation, your work, your income, what taxes you're paying, Canada pays your kid. Unlike the UK doesn't pay your kid. Maybe for some reason the healthcare helps in some bits where they tell you, oh, come in for your immunization, come in for this, come in for that. It's all free because you've paid the health surcharge when coming into the UK as a student. But in Canada, your child, yourself, healthcare is free.
Free, yeah.
And they give you benefits. It may be delayed, but it definitely comes in. Where every month you get a stipend, usually paid to the mother of that home.
Yeah.
So they pay you for taking care, like for the needs of that child. So as many child as you have, more stipends you shall receive.
But in the UK, then you have to sort that.
Nothing for you. So UK is for I'm living on the fast lane, I'm glamorous, I want to live my life YOLO, only live one, YOLO kind of lifestyle. The UK supports that, of course. But if you are a mom, you're a dad, and you want to cut as much cost as possible, Canada is the best bet for you. As I speak to you, in Canada, you can get even subsidy for daycare, where your kid will go to school because the age range for getting into school is from 4 when you are in Ontario, Canada. So up until that point, even from 6 weeks till that child is 4, you can get subsidy so that you can work. So you can put your kid in daycare and go to work. So so Canada.
I wanted to ask, like, if you were given the opportunity to go to the UK as an international student or as international students, which would and why?
Okay, so if I was given the opportunity,
yes,
as a student, I will go to the UK because I'm a student. Okay. I'm neither married nor I have kids, and UK is a melting point of Africa's finest and like you will see them. If you are not sure what you want to do with yourself just yet, and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing with this course, because most people I don't think most people are sure what they want to do with themselves by the time they're leaving Nigeria. But you want the culture to influence you. You want to see what people are doing. You now take from that collection, you take your pick of what suits you and your lifestyle and your experience best. I think it's the UK. You have more Afrocentric gatherings. You can say, oh, they're doing it this way, but I like it this way. This is the trend I want to follow. If they are being doctors, oh, what's the new trend? If it's tech, what is the new trend? UK is miles ahead of Canada, and I can vouch for that when it comes to fintech, space, ecotech. UK is way ahead. So if you are trying as a budding student, young, and you are in that fast pace kind of, I'm trying to decide what I want for myself,
then UK is
the best for you. But if you're already a mom who you're trying to leave Nigeria or leave wherever you are, and student path is what is the best for you at that point, please, Canada makes more sense. Canada is not it's not a nunnery either way. It's not like there's no fun happening here. You have to just create it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's extremely boring.
I don't think so too. Maybe because I'm in that community. I have friends in Canada. I also have friends in the UK. So I don't think it's not boring, at least for me.
Yeah, you just have to create that fun for yourself.
Yeah.
So, and I'll say, just in summary, I'm just going to say that that means Canada is family oriented.
Yes.
And then is for if you are still single and then you are still find your way around life. What do you want to really do with your life? And you just that motivation and that push, then you should consider UK. But if
Yeah.
you're like a family person and you just want to settle down and like have, the family benefit and everything, then you should
Yeah.
consider weather in UK versus Canada, because some people tell me that like UK, weather in the UK is bipolar, and then I'm like, okay, but weather in Canada,
Okay, yeah. So why they say, but I can relate to being bipolar, because 1 minute you can be shining and you are like, oh, I'm going to wear a tank top today. And people have to see what God has given to me. And you step out.
yeah,
All of a sudden the wind starts blowing things here and there. You're like, I didn't even carry a jacket. Like, UK weather is so unpredictable. Like, you can't even just forget about looking at that weather forecast.
mm-hmm.
And it's usually just the windy thing, just the windy thing, and it gets extremely cold when it's windy. So that's why people might consider it as bipolar. But Canada will warn you, and it promises, and it will come.
Yeah,
It is going to be cold. It's going to be cold. If it says it's 3 degrees and it feels like 28, don't go anywhere, because it will promise you and it will deliver. So you need to layer up at every time when it's winter in Canada. But in
yeah,
the UK, it might or it might not. So sometimes when it's sunny out, you need to go out to actually feel what it's like. Then come back and then dress appropriately for that movement. You can't just up and go. But Canada, everybody knows, it tells you that it is cold. Dress up in your layers and go out. So yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference. UK, but still nothing compares to Canada's cold.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe when we experience the summer, we would also be able to.
Yeah, we're about to enter into
Say that summer is obviously hot,
Yeah.
and this spring, and spring is this hot. Then I don't understand how.
yeah.
I understand how summer is going to look like, but I'm looking forward to the old summer vibe and the old summer
Canada is like on two extremes. When it's hot, it's extremely hot. When
vibe.
it's cold, it's extremely cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so just to ask, like this is going to be like the final question. Just to ask, like, why did you relocate to Canada? Because I could remember, you went to UK as a student with your family, and then when you called me, the day you called me, and then you're like, oh, babe, what's up? Like, I'm in Canada. I'm like, how come? the last time I remember, like, you were in the UK, like, how come, like, Canada, UK to Canada? I have a lot of people that are trying to move from UK to Canada as well. I just wanted to ask, like, why did you relocate from UK to Canada? Like, what's the reason behind it?
Okay, so it's basically immigration. Yeah, you don't want to be uncertain for too long on your status in a particular place, simply because I'm a mom and I need to consider my kid. So when our student status was rounding up, as God would have it, we have been in the pool for the Canadian Express Entry, that's the permanent residency, for about 3 years. Immediately we got married, got into the pool. So and then we added our kid when she came. So immediately we're rounding up. So we got our invitation. Then we did get finally to submit our passports so that they could come in for stamping. So that was basically it. It was like God just didn't want us to be in the UK for too long, and we decided that okay, for FITA, we didn't even stay back for the 2-year post student visa that you receive after you studied in the UK. Yeah, so that you can work. We moved all of that because we had transferable skills, and we moved over to Canada.
Yeah, do you think like moving from UK to Canada actually did help you in like getting job fast?
Well, yeah, I want to believe so, because I'm currently in the same role I was in the UK, and but with a bank this time. And I believe that it was some of the transferable skills from that particular role that helped in this new role. I do tell people that if you're trying to break into the Canadian market, you need to offer them something, give this Caesar something, and it will require any education certification from the Canadian school market, because they need to see that. We can complain that it's not fair, but it is what it is.
But like they still ask you like, where is Canadian experience?
Yeah, and I did have some Canadian experience. Yeah, so touch here and there, kind of do something commission based, all building into a story that you're building a story for yourself and your CV. So I did all of that. My husband has also been doing all of that. Just one or two things, and then you get the role you want, but you have to sacrifice time, energy, study hours. Yeah, but it's very achievable. It's very, very achievable. Yeah. So people afraid that coming into Canada you have to do a blue collar job. You don't have to. It's just that you need to wait out that transition period. It's difficult. Yeah.
They're just to have a plan and then work to the plan.
Yes. You have to have a plan coming to that. For this next 6 months, cutting off majority of the expenses that would, overhaul all of my savings. Keep it simple. Try to keep it simple so that you can just not because everybody's journeys are different, no comparisons. Everyone is just facing that lane, and yeah, it'd be good, really.
Do you have any word of wisdom for someone that wants to relocate to Canada or UK, but they're like a bit confused?
Well, judge your circumstance yourself. Don't allow another person make the final decision for you, even myself. So if you know that you are the kind that I want somewhere a little bit slower paced, I want something a little bit faster paced, or this is where my headspace is at right now. I like the fact that I can go to church here, or I like the fact that there's a festival here, or where does Davido visit, or where does you need to specify your situation so that you won't be looking at people's lives and be thinking, I want to specify your situation, specify how much you have, specify, are you going with a partner, do you already have kids? So all of these things, you need to consider it and say, okay, UK works best for me. Okay, Canada works best for me. But please do not take word verbatim what someone else is doing and try to replicate it in your life, because it can't work. Everybody's situation is different. It can't. So that's basically it.
Yeah, and thank you so much. Thank you for coming to my channel. Like, it was a fun session. It was a fun session with you, I won't lie. And yeah, we're going to definitely have more of you. And summer is coming, we're definitely going to link up. And thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. If you enjoy it, don't forget to smash the red button below, like this video, drop your comments and drop your view. If you have stayed in Canada and UK, feel free to drop your comments in this comment box below. Until I see you in my next video, stay cool, stay jiggy.